so now that the PVC pipe is all clean, it's time to start gluing all our pieces together. And just because I was extremely curious, I decided that I wanted to see what types of glue would stick your PVC parts together and actually keep them together. Because for me, PVC pipe glue is obviously going to be the best. It's what plumbers use to get a watertight kind of fitting there, so no water leaks. But we're not going to be putting water through these pipes. So I wanted to see if something that I had already at home would work, such as my hot glue gun, or I've got some liquid nails. I have seen a few tutorials that use screws. And how about just regular clear plastic glue that's made for plastics? So because I've made so many different bars, I'm going to try a different glue on all these different bars. I've used the PVC pipe glue for this double PVC bar, and I'm going to glue all the rest of the joints together, and it's really easy to see if they've been glued because you can see the PVC cement here. Mine is green, yours might be purple, various colors that you can get them in. There is one joint that I am not going to glue together on this particular bar, and that is this one right here. And that is so I'm able to move both legs this way and store the bar, or take them off completely to store the bar. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of it now. And there we go, our bar is all in there, and I'm going to leave that to cure. So now I'm about to use my hot glue gun, which I've left to heat up, with the double wood bar. Now I wanted to do it with a double wood bar because I was hoping that it'll create a nice clean line, because I really do like the white with the wood, and I didn't want to paint it. So I was hoping, unlike with the PVC pipe plumber's glue, which made everything all gloopy green, I was hoping that I might get away without painting this. Okay. I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to have another look at this one a bit later and see if that glue is stable or if I have to do something else to it. So the next glue I was using was a construction glue, or something called liquid nails, and there is a foot, and I'm trying this out on the single PVC bar with wood. So this bar, it has the wood through the middle as the middle beam, and it is attached through screws. I was thinking of using this construction kind of glue to put it in there, but I think with the screw there, it makes it more versatile. It means that I can take it apart and for easy storage as well. For this one, I think I am going to put in the leg. As I said, because I've got the screws here, I can take it apart for easy storage. So on this bar, am going to glue every single part. Okay, we'll see how this one goes after it's dried for 24 hours, because I can already hear that this joint here is starting to crack because it's not made for PVC. When I put the pressure on there, it is starting to crack and move in the glue a little bit. So what I might do is, instead of doing the whole of the other side, I might just see how this pulls up overnight before I do that side. And the reason for that is that it may just be better off using the PVC plumber's glue, which of course is what this is made for, but this is an experiment. So as I said, I'm going to see how that pulls up in the morning before I do the other side. And this is the single PVC bar, and for that I am using plastic glue. So this is plastic fix, and it comes in two parts. The first part is a primer, and then the second part is the glue. Okay, surprisingly to me, this glue is actually fairly strong. What I've noticed in some of the other bars is that when I press down, the glue kind of slips in this area, but it's kind of doing its job and not letting the bars move, which is really good. The thing is, for the cost of that glue, I've got none left, and it only did a single bar. So the reason I bought that glue is that I thought, oh, there might be some left and I might be able to use it on one of the kids' toys or something like that. But basically it cost me the same as the plumber's glue. There is a lot of the plumber's glue left compared to this. But in saying that so far, I mean, it needs time to cure and really bond, there's not as much mess. So if you were wanting to keep this bar white like this, then the investment into the more expensive glue might be worth it. So let's do this whole bar. So every single joint in this bar, I am do anything that connects, I am going to drill a hole in and put a screw in there. So this will be fun. So if you know how to use a hand drill and you're pretty handy with it, that Didn't take very long, and that is ready for painting, or you could leave it as it is because I cleaned all the markings off it earlier, but that's pretty good. And I mean, these bars are not going to be as sturdy as a steel bar. You can see that it's bending, but for basic ballet practice, it's the next morning. It's quite early on a Sunday morning actually, and I've gotten myself up because I'm so excited to see what the glue has done with all these bars, which ones worked and which ones didn't. So I'll go through them from the start. So this is the double bar that we did, and you can see with all the green marks that I've used the Plumber's PVC pipe glue. Feeling on the outside, it's a bit rubbery. So to me, in a glue, that means that it probably has some movement and it will stay stuck together. And the way that I'm kind of testing whether these glues work is by putting a fair amount of pressure, especially down on these joints here where the legs are, making sure that that here doesn't start to crack or move. And so, quite unsurprisingly, the Plumber's PVC glue for pipes has done its job and has created a really strong and good bond. So I'm going to say that yes, absolutely go ahead and use this. The disadvantages or the cons to using this glue was, one, it was a little bit messy. It got easier when I actually sat down on the floor rather than doing it at the table. I found for me that was easier. Number two, it has a really, really strong smell. After doing this bar, I had a really extra long bar to do as well as a couple of other pieces. And the smell did start getting to my head a little bit, even though I'm in the garage and I've got a door over on the other, couple of doors open in here. The smell is really quite strong. And the third thing is that you don't have much time once you've got the pieces set in to make any adjustments. I did get a little bit distracted when my daughter came in, and then I looked out the window and there was this beautiful sunset, which I'm so sorry I didn't capture for you. And it was like 10 seconds, and it was slightly off, and I couldn't pull those pieces apart. So let's see how this compares to the other types of fastenings that I used. So for the single bar, I used the clear plastic. It was a glue for plastics. So again, it had a primer, and the primer was a bit like a texter, and then it had the glue, and it was only this tiny thing of glue. So doing my test again, pressing down on both of those sides, turning it around so that you can see if it sort of like goes down a lot there. And you can see that this, now I put this whole bar together, I put the feet in as well, so you can't take the feet off this one. Okay, all the parts. That plastic, that glue for plastics, has created some really strong bonds. Now, so I would, if you've got some of that glue, I would recommend using it on the bar. But the cons for that one are, that little container cost me about the same as it did to buy the 2 jars of primer and cement plumbing glue. So it was quite expensive for not a lot. It basically only just did this bar. But it's clean. If I want, because I prepared this bar with the acetone and wiped everything off previously, I can leave this bar as it is. So because there's no of the green plumbing glue marks coming out. That's one of the advantages to using that kind of clear plastic glue. Gives you a nice clean finish. The next solution for fastening and connecting your bar that I used was screws. Now this was a really simple and quick thing to do. So if you are wanting to get a bar completely sort of up and running in an hour from start to finish, screws would probably be what you're going to look at fastening your bar with, because you don't have to wait for curing time of your glue. And I will say that, I mean, can I get it back further? So if I press down on that, you can see that it is going downwards there, but they're not coming out. So I'm finding that the screws aren't as strong and sturdy as the PVC plumbing glue or as that plastic glue, but it's holding this bar together quite well. So if you're after a quick solution, or if you want to be able to take your pieces apart, screwing is a good alternative. But I'm going to say it's not the best alternative. It's best for if you want to, as I said, take your bar completely apart and be able to put it together, because the screws can just come out. That is one of the advantages of the screws. Number two, that it is a quick solution and you can have your bar up and running within an hour. But otherwise, I'd probably go for, if you're really wanting a nice, strong, sturdy bar, I would go for the glues. I actually last night did not put these pieces together for that leg. I only did that leg. On this one, so on this one we'd have the wooden beam in between. For this I used the construction glue. Now, the reason I stopped and this morning is still happening, it's like cracking and going down, and it's just going to, okay, so there we go. I did use the construction glue on this joint here. It is still a little bit wet, so okay, it hasn't 100% cured, but I don't think, look, it's just peeling off. I don't think it's suitable for these types of plastics, and so I just wouldn't use it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is use the PVC plumber's glue to put this one together. So my recommendation for using construction glue, like hard as nails on your PVC pipe, no go. It's not going to work. Don't bother. Don't waste your time. Okay, the last bar that I did, or maybe it wasn't the last, it was in between there, I used my hot glue guns to see if I could use that type of glue, because it's probably what a lot of people do have lying around at home in their craft supplies, to see if it would work. Okay, so a little bit of pressure on these bars with the hot glue, and the glue is just cracking. When the hot glue dries, it does go hard, so it cracks easily. And I did think that was what was going to happen. So again, I'm probably going to get the PVC pipe glue out and finish off this bar, which is a pity because I actually wanted to keep this one white, and I don't have any of the plastic glue left. The clear plastic glue, so I'm just going to have to use the PVC glue and then paint this one. So the recommendation on using your hot glue gun to put your PVC bar together is no, it's not going to work. I'll just run through that really quickly of my top recommendations for how to fasten your do-it-yourself ballet bar together. My number one top recommendation would be using plumber's PVC glue.
And of course, it wasn't until after filming this video that I realised you could get PVC cement and primer in clear. So buy that, then you don't have to worry about the marks and painting your PVC pipe afterwards.
It comes as a primer first, and that sort of like melts a little bit of the PVC, and then you put your glue and it creates a really strong bond. It means that when you put any pressure on the bar, those joints are going to stay rock solid. That is my number one recommendation. Number two would probably be the screws, because it's quick and easy and it'll get your bar up and running. My number three recommendation would be a clear glue made especially for plastics. Now, my reasoning for it to be number three is that I want to just use it in real life situations a bit, just to make sure that that bond really is as strong as it feels as it is, because I didn't use a lot of glue because there wasn't a lot of glue there. It was quite expensive, the amount that I got compared to the other ways that I put the bars together. In saying that, it had a lot less mess, and you can keep the bar, you don't have to paint the bar because there is less mess on the bar and in basically making your bar. So it might actually be the number one option for you. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope there was some helpful information in there and you will understand and choose which glue or fastening product is best for you for your PVC project, whether it's a ballet bar or something completely else. If you like today's video, make sure you like the video, subscribe, head down into the comments, let me know your thoughts. If you know of a better way, if you've tried to make any of the bars that I've got on the channel, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, until next time, when we start painting the bars, see ya.